my in.
Brilliant. Oh, listen, everybody, welcome. And I have got the pleasure of introducing you to Georgina Watts today, who is a marvelous Reiki master. She's also a Nia dance teacher. And Georgina and I have known each other for quite some time now, actually, one way or another, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's one of my recommended therapists in the women's wellbeing space because she has, I know firsthand how incredibly good she is at Reiki. So welcome, Georgina. Lovely to see you.
Thank you. Really nice to see you too.
Going to see if I can do a I'm going to see if I can do a share screen. Can I do that? I'm not sure if I can actually. So I'll just hang on. Where are we going? Switch camera. Where are we? So while I'm fiddling around with the screen, if you, oh, there we go. That's what we want. Hurrah. We can both be seen there. If you could just tell everybody a little bit about what Reiki is and why you love teaching it, why you love practicing it.
Yeah, okay. So Reiki is a Japanese therapy. It means Reiki refers to a particular frequency of energy. And when you connect to this energy, it's calming and peaceful and relaxing. It has this feeling of coming home for me. All of those sensations of that peaceful warmth, like a hug. So when I do Reiki on someone, I connect to this energy that's all around us, and it comes through me, and the person's body takes what energy they need, where they need it. And that changes all the time, depending on thought patterns, what you've been doing, what you've been eating, what you've been thinking about saying, whether you've been rushing around or whether you've been relaxing, or whatever's gone on in your life. So that's the great thing for me with Reiki, is that I don't have to look at someone and think, I must do this. I am going to do something. The Reiki energy, this frequency, is taken into their body and does what it's going to do. And it's always good. So what else do you need to know?
So can you, I mean, it sounds so nice. Just, and then listen to you talking, I'm just like, oh, I feel quite relaxed. Just listen to you. And I've experienced firsthand. I remember I was about to run a course and a really bad headache, and you came up behind me and just put your hands on my head.
Oh, yeah.
Reiki. I don't know if you remember that. And
yeah,
the headache went. And it was that dropping down into the body, tension release and being very grounded. But I would love you to explain, if you can, how you tune into these energetic frequencies. And for somebody who's never heard of Reiki and has never got their head around energy healing before, can you try? And that's quite difficult.
Yes.
Try and explain what it actually is.
Well, okay. So in the word Reiki, you have Rei, which refers to this big universal something that's good, and it's all around us and it's in everything that's alive. And it has its own reason, way of being. It's like the big good that's out there. And the key part is something you might know of, chi. So energy, life force energy. So it's prana with yoga, chi in Tai Chi, and Chinese medicine is chi. In Japanese, because Reiki is Japanese, the key is that energy that's going through your body. So how I tune in, I have a little way that I was taught. So I can do it with you now if you like. So the first thing I do is grounding. So it's a sensation of feet flat on the floor. That sensation you talked about, dropping down. So I feel my feet on the floor and I'm noticing, is it cold? Is it warm? Is it soft? Is it hard? And I imagine roots of energy growing down into the earth from the four corners of my feet. And I just imagine roots growing way, way, way down and spreading out like the roots of a big tree. And already then I start to feel connected to the earth energy. So it's that safe pulling down. And then I imagine those roots growing way, way down, spreading out and anchoring. And then I picture a color, and I bring up, it's any color that springs to mind. So right now I might need red, a red grounding root chakra sort of color, bringing up that color up through the roots, sucking it up through, and then filling up underneath through the soles of my feet, bringing that color up through my legs and my body, down through my arms, up through my head, and then I reach up for pure white light energy, and I bring that white light down again through the crown, down through the spine, so it fills up my whole body, all the way down through my legs, back down into the earth. And then I breathe this white light around me 3 times. And I'm imagining the white light circling around my body. And then to keep that white light with me, I make a translucent shield like an egg, golden egg, under my feet and up in front of me and over the top of my head, and from underneath and behind and round, over and joining at the top and the bottom, and then the left and the right. And there I am in my golden egg of protection, anchored to the earth, surrounded by white light. So there you go. But I do that very, very quickly. I will. So before I start to put my hands on someone, I'll just feel my feet, put the roots down, bring up the colour, bring down the white light, breathe the 3 times, make my leg, and then I'm ready to go. So that's my golden egg grounding exercise. But I teach this on my Reiki course.
Oh,
it's a very good thing.
Following that. It's lovely. I'm feeling very grounded, and you know, it's similar to I do hara breathing in classes, which is the beginning part of that, where you're breathing from the hara point down through your legs and doing that really deep anchoring, and do that before going into things like tree pose, so that it is we are a conduit of energy between the heaven and the earth. So there's so much playing with the prana in yoga, which is similar, I guess, with you playing with the chi, the key, your Reiki. It's amazing how you just talking me through that. Then I've gone from being us chatting, organizing this, and then just feeling so lovely and relaxed, and just noticing actually my jaw is relaxed. The muscles around my eyes are feeling relaxed, my shoulders are feeling relaxed. So amazing. So then, so if you had somebody that you were performing Reiki on, you go through this grounding exercise yourself, and then if you could just talk the listeners through what do you do next?
What I do next is I often, at the moment, I'm not touching people on their skin. I have my hands off, but normally I would put my hands and touch the body very gently, and I would start over the eyes, and I have different hand positions I do on the head, particularly for somebody like they have a headache. That's really lovely to have a gentle feeling of placing the hands. It's like when you hug your children, somebody gives you a hug, you feel better, and that's because they are giving you their energy. Now with Reiki, I am asking for this energy to come from the outside. I'm not giving my own personal energy. I put my hands there and I have the intention, and the intention is the important part of allowing this flow of this wonderful, calm, big goodness to be taken by this person wherever they need it. And so they might feel tingling from my hands. They might feel warmth is often the thing that people feel, but it can be because it's energy and it's being taken in their body wherever they need it, not where I decide it's going to go. I might have my hands on their head and they might feel it on their feet or their tummy. They might feel a little shooting of energy as a line of energy, a meridian clears. But sometimes they don't feel anything big. They just feel very relaxed. And it's this sensation of being in and out of sleep that we have with your yoga relaxation, where you're accessing that different wavelength in your brain. So you feel like you're awake, but to me, that person is asleep. They're snoring and dribbling. So
they're in alpha
yeah.
and maybe even delta going down into, which is the healing state, isn't it? That's,
So even people who are saying, oh, I find it so hard to relax, often with Reiki, just that first connection, hands on the head, then they're off into that different wavelength.
It's so powerful taking the mind-body connection and adding in the spiritual, the all that is. And we had a quick chat before just about vagus nerve stimulation, which is, going into that parasympathetic nerve system, that rest and digest state, which is what you've just been talking about, taking people from fright and flight, from being quite hyped up, and our world is so overstimulated, especially at the moment with all our devices, and being able to switch all of that off really quite quickly and drop into a state of simply being, and that healing state. And that really, for me, is so key, especially in these midlife years, because unless we are calming things down, our adrenal system, which takes over the production of our estrogen and progesterone when our ovaries shut up shop, unless we give our bodies and our brains time to go into this conscious stages of relaxation, this conscious choice to go into the alpha brainwave state, we then instead, the poor adrenals will keep pumping out adrenaline and cortisol, and our body will then not produce the balancing hormones that we really need them to be producing. And that's when we start to get all the terrible perimenopausal symptoms. So what you're doing is, really powerful, really important. Have you yourself experienced the benefits? Do you have somebody else giving you Reiki, or do you do Reiki shares with other people?
I do Reiki on myself every day.
Do you? Okay.
Yes. Consciously and unconsciously. So often, or subconsciously, not unconsciously, I'll be watching television or something and I'll realise I've got my hands around my throat, and I'll notice, oh, okay, some words or something that need, or maybe it's my jaw that's. I think you were the one who said that there's a connection between relaxing in the hips and the jaw. I've really been conscious of that recently. So quite often I'll be there and I'll be thinking, oh, is it my hip flexors or my jaw? What is it? So thank you for that. Yeah, so I do Reiki on myself. My mother does Reiki. My brother does Reiki.
Oh wow!
Who else does Reiki? I mean, I've got a lot of Reiki people around.
Yes, so you're able to receive as well as give it. It's interesting you saying that when you start a session, you often start around the eyes, because obviously in yoga, or my cueing right from when we start a class is just to keep consciously relaxing the little muscles around the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw, because obviously I'm very orientated around people with functional pelvic floor. But what's incredible is that when we consciously relax these key muscles, it allows the rest of the body to go boom and relax quickly too. So that's maybe why just then when we were doing that visualization,
Yeah.
like, eyes relaxed, jaw relaxed, everything else.
Yeah. Yes.
Relax and relax.
For you, it's the same. It's something your body's used to doing, so you can do it quickly then. So same
And
for
it is
me.
a learned
It's a little,
response, isn't it? It's a
yeah.
learned response. I think that's a really important thing for us to get across to women, is that relaxation isn't, it's like, you can't go to the gym once and do some bicep reps once and then think, yay, I've got great biceps. And the same with relaxation. The more you practice any kind of relaxation, the more it works, and the more your body responds, the more your brain responds. So just doing a little bit of Reiki on yourself every day, I guess it's that.
Connecting to that outside energy, and the sensation of the joy of just breathing in and out. And during lockdown, when I was recovering from COVID-like stuff, I was telling you earlier that I had a lovely experience of feeling really connected to the earth and everybody and all that is, just by walking slowly, slowing down my paces, shortening my paces, really enjoying slowing down, looking at the animals. And I had this picture in my mind that the earth was underneath me, a bit like a lava lamp, and I was like a little bubble out of that energy, and all the people, we're all little bubbles, all connected. And that was a big realization for me. So although I've been on my own, I felt very much connected, more connected than I have done, to everything that's going on. And so I had little Reiki walks, chakra walks.
Oh, I like that. Yes, when you're just consciously being very, very tuned into everything around you and the way your body is moving through space.
Yeah.
I call that my me and tree time. So I get out into when I go for walks, not all the time, because sometimes I listen to podcasts and stuff, but yes, to consciously really look at each individual leaf and to be in the feeling of sunlight on your skin, and to feel the leaves underneath your feet, and to feel the sensations of the velvety air on your skin, and be totally tuned in. It's quite, you get quite high on it, don't you? You can feel quite connected to all that is, which is a lovely way of putting it. Tell us, how did you come to Reiki in the first place? What was it? What brought you to learning Reiki and becoming a Reiki master?
When my children were little, and my eldest is now 20, 28, 29. It's got so big numbers, I've forgotten where we are.
I know.
Well, I've lost a year with the 2020 bit. So it's when the children were little, a friend of mine was taking me on some courses to make potions. What were we making? Aromatherapy. It was aromatherapy courses. And at the bottom of the list of the things that this lady did was Reiki. And I'd heard about it. I think some really nice therapists that I've gone to for unpleasant things like waxing, really nice ladies, had told me their marvelous stories about Reiki. And I didn't think that any old person could learn Reiki. I thought you had to be a particular sort of person. So when this lady, I looked and saw Reiki on this list and said, "Oh, could I learn?" Oh, yes. So I went to her and I learned Reiki with her. And then after that, I took various courses with different other teachers. So I've had experience of different approaches to Reiki from different people, and that's been really helpful. I've had the very Japanese approach, and then very westernized approach, and I know what appeals to me, I suppose, and what joins up. So it's like when we're talking, you can relate the Reiki I'm talking about to yoga, because it's all the same thing. It's chi, it's prana, it's ki. It's just a way of connecting into it. When you are taught, you are attuned, you are woken up, a little bit like EFT, the tapping.
Yes.
There's a little bit of tapping, and it's an intention that is sent into your body that you can then connect to Reiki when you want to.
It's very beautiful. And I think it feels really empowering that women, I mean, obviously we're talking to women can learn these tools, can utilize these tools, and really benefit from ancient wisdom from different cultures. And the thing I love about yoga, and the reason I wanted to get other, energy healers and things involved with the women's wellbeing space, is that so many of these tools, even though they might have been sort of designed by men, are actually so applicable to women, and especially in this midlife period, that can be so incredibly useful, tangibly useful for us, on not just a mental stage, but the physiological, on our physical, how our hormones are balanced, and therefore how we feel and how we show up in the world. And I'm very passionate about us starting to move away from trying to fit into the patriarchal world and be little men in skirts basically, and start to re-educate society on the benefits of being a woman, and celebrate our differences and celebrate our cyclical natures, even if we're not actually cycling anymore. With periods we still have an energetic cycle, and for us to embrace all that it is to be a woman. We are able to be so connected and creative, and so exhausted, yes, for parts of our cycle, but then, as you were describing before when we were having chat, getting this extraordinary energy for a week or two afterwards, where we can do a lot.
Superwoman
really
arrives.
With a warrioress kind of energy. And so yes, it is recognizing that we have these tools available to us, and it's actually taking the time to learn them, slow down so that we can learn them, and slow down so that we can step off the merry-go-round of the patriarchal, dog eats dog, competitive, must be working constantly at this very high speed, which often leads to burnout, doesn't it? And total disintegration of our systems.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's so nice to chat about this stuff.
It is so good to chat about this stuff, isn't it? So, Georgina, you do Zoom Reiki as well as in person, is that right?
Yes. That it's always been possible because we are energy, so we're billions of particles vibrating, and the more that science looks at our bodies, they're starting to come round to the opinion of the Eastern way of looking at things, that we're less solid than we think, aren't we? We're not. We are pure energy. So your thought is an energy, your intention is an energy. You connect to that Reiki energy around, and then you have the intention of that energy going to a person, whether you're touching them or whether they're not even in the same room or a long way away. It makes no difference.
That's incredible. I mean, it really is big mind-bending stuff, isn't it?
Yes. Some people really want the in person, and for some people during lockdown, people who've got compromised immune systems, the distant Reiki has just been a real lifesaver. Really,
How magnificent. Oh, well, listen, so everybody, if you want to find Georgina, she's in the therapy tent. She's wonderful. I've really, like I said, benefited very much myself from having her Reiki on me. So do look her up if you think this is something that you could benefit from too. I think anything that resonates as far as calming that central nervous system down and getting in touch with who you truly are, and just having some deep rest is incredibly beneficial. So if Reiki is something you think, oh yeah, that sounds good, and do get in touch with Georgina. Georgina, is there anything that you'd like to finish off with? Anything you'd like to say about Reiki, or anything at all?
The thoughts are very important in how you're feeling. And with Reiki, there are the 5 principles where daily you say to yourself that I'm letting go of anger. Now you think, where is there anger in my body? You might picture it, sense it, you might give it a color, a shape, and then you can just breathe it out. And then you let go of, I let go of worry. And that's something you come back to time and time again, maybe. And again, you can think, where is that in my body? Where is that? Is it head? Is it neck? Is it chest? Thighs? Picture it, and you can breathe it out. And this is just for today. Just for today, I'm grateful. And it's sensation in your body. Again, of comfort, of breath, that joy of just in and out, just being. It doesn't have to be anything more than that. And just for today, I am following my way, my life being, just being me. And finally, just for today, I'm kind to myself and to others. So that, you can just say that to yourself. That feeling and that connectedness at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, you're going to feel a lot calmer. So there you are.
That's really powerful. We're going to have to do a yoga class together where you're teaching this at the beginning and the end. I think that would be really, really nice, and very,
that'd be great.
Would work beautifully in how I like to bring in exactly that kind of acknowledgement of these trillions of cells that are condensed together and are creating this vessel that we're experiencing this lifetime through. And actually getting to the stage when we've moved into stillness of being able to say, wow, thank you. Like, thank you to this vessel. And knowing that it's, gratitude that is the source of joy. It's not the other way around, but that being in that gratitude. So as you say, forgiveness and gratitude and acknowledgement of the body, it's all very powerful. Powerful way to let go of the chitter chatter and the mind, and recognizing that those thoughts that, they are neural impulses in our brain. They're not who we are. And I guess Reiki is very much working around epigenetics, isn't it? The biology.
I don't know what's epigenetics. That's another whole discussion, isn't it?
It is. It's that, it's literally what we think, what influences us in our culture and in our family, etc., familial patterning, how that influences all of these things, influence what we eat, what goes into our bloodstream, influences the blueprint, if you like, of the DNA, and actually influences what gets expressed or doesn't get expressed in our body. So it's actually the power of what we think directly affects how our biology, how our body is expressed. So it's it's a whole nother layer of it's sort of the cutting edge scientific where science is going at the moment, and really where it is merging ancient Eastern wisdom, like the benefits of Reiki, and the latest in Western science and research, and how we actually function and where dis-ease comes from, etc.
So there's hope. There's real hope that just because you have, if you have pain, if you have discomfort, if you're upset, if you're stressed, you can change it. Your thoughts cause these feelings, and you can undo them. It takes a conscious stepping out, and that finding that stillness that you mentioned. That is it. So whatever way you do it, whether it's yoga, Reiki, acupuncture, reflexology,
we're all together.
Everything, it's all the same. It's whatever you're drawn to. just choose something.
Yes. And like you say, it's everything can, well, we know change is the one constant. Anything can change. And in yoga, we say, you know, santosha means acceptance. And once you accept where you are, you're not pushing against it. That's the key ingredient to change. And quite often, just, you know, I always talk about there's so much freedom and surrender when we surrender into what is right now, and we stop trying to push away from or try to fit ourselves into something that isn't suiting us. That surrender really is the key ingredient to change, because we then find that new things will flow in. But it's also just a way of ease, a feeling of ease. So yeah. Anyway, listen, it's been great to talk to you. Like I said, ladies, if you would like to find Georgina, she's in the Women's Wellbeing therapy tent. She's marvelous, and we're going to have to do some work together, I think, in the future. That would be top. So, thank you, Georgina.
Thank you.
Right. And